Hi, I'm back. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about queer cinema and why I don't particularly like queer cinema. Yeah, that sounds weird coming from a queer person, man. But I don't find I find queer cinema quite cringe. And my husband loves it. He's like, oh my God, this is so romantic. And he loves that whole kind of like on the beach setting and the two guys in the waves and the whole sort of East of Eden kind of thing, but it's two guys and all that crap, and the boys in the school who fall in love and they can't show their love because the bullies on the football team are gonna blah 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 blah. I can't fucking stand it. Okay, I really really can't. And I can't tell you exactly why I find it cringe. I just do. I think maybe it has to do with like my age. I'm a Gen Xer, and we didn't really have this. Well, we didn't have this when I was growing up. I mean, the closest we came to queer cinema was like, Swedish erotica kind of stuff, all American boys. And that was about as close as we got to love stories. So I'm not used to it. I'm not used to seeing mainstream queer cinema. I'm not talking about naughty stuff, about porn and all of that sort of stuff. I'm talking about mainstream queer cinema. I'm just find it very cringe. I don't like watching it. Like I get like so antsy. I actually cannot watch it. And hubby loves it, but I think it's his generation. They've grown up with this kind of thing. He's a millennial, and I think also with the advent of the internet and being exposed to this kind of thing, excuse the pun, more and more, their generation and Gen Z or Gen Z in South Africa we call them Gen Z. They are more used to this kind of stuff. Me, I don't know. I find it like really a bit too much on the nose, if you know what I mean. Like, I'll give you an example. I will watch, comedies, gay comedies, okay, because the movies that I really like are like from the 30s, okay, 30s and 40s, where your gay characters were often just the comic character, the comedic character, or the excessively gay character, the absolute darling of the scene who walks in and is like, and then when he walks out, everybody laughs, and it's kind of like the comedic character. Now, a lot of you are going to say, Matt, that is just, we've moved on from that. That's the stereotype. It's a terrible stereotype. We've moved on from that. But you know what? I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the comedy element to the queer cinema of the 30s and 40s. Now, not so much. I do, however, enjoy comedy, gay, queer cinema comedy. And I have two DVDs here that I want to show you, and I'm sure that many of you or most of you have seen both. Okay, the first one I'm going to show you, I'm sure everybody knows, and that is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Okay, I freaking love this. I love this movie because it's so over the top, and yet it's so poignant and kind of like I can kind of relate to this in the Terence Stamp character, kind of sort of, his emotional journey. And then again, I can relate to the other two characters, the over-the-top queen, and the sort of nerdy kind of like sturdy guy that doesn't know if he's Arthur or Martha kind of thing. I can relate to those because I've had friends that have been like that. I hung around with people like that in the 80s. I love the whole idea of the road trip, the whole kind of cock on a rock in a frock kind of stuff, This sort of thing I can watch. I've watched this movie over and over, and apparently there's going to be a sequel, or they've made a sequel or something, which I will certainly watch, and I will certainly buy, and I will put next to this on my shelf. Now, this kind of thing it's kind of accepted comedy in the way that they've put it together, because it's also poignant. It's also kind of a drama, rom-com, that kind of thing, a sort of road trip where they don't only go on the road, they also find their true selves and their inner blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. I really like this. And I think I like it also because of the amazing costumes, the fantastic freaking soundtrack, and just everything about this movie. I just love it. I can sit and I can have a laugh, and then sometimes if I'm a bit stoned, I'll have a cry as well. But it's just so freaking awesome. So Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, hey man, I can do this, okay? And the other one, I've got a few here, but I can't find them. I think they're in my boxes down in the garage. But the other one that I've got on my shelf is called The Birdcage. Now, this is actually a remake. Okay, this is an American remake of a French movie called La Cage aux Folles. La Cage aux Folles, I do have, it's on the red box. It's a terrible copy, and unfortunately, it does not have subtitles, so I have to watch it in French, and my French is a little rusty. So I went and got this one. It's not as good as La Cage aux Folles, but it is absolutely hysterical. The story is exactly the same. The only difference is we have Nathan Lane and Robin Williams and all these like really cool sort of actors of the time. It's also an old movie, but this one is very much comedy. This is about a guy a couple who have a straight son. They have this straight son, and I forget how they ended up with a straight son, but anyway. And he's engaged to this straight girl, and he's inviting the girl's parents over to meet his parents. And of course, the father of this girl, blah blah, he's a prominent politician, and of course, the whole sort of supper scene is where Nathan Lane's character dresses up as a woman in drag, and oh my god, it's just crazy. I don't want to like go through the whole thing, but it's just a crazy, really funny story. And this is what I enjoy. This is not highbrow queer cinema where, they have to overcome their deepest angst, and they have to eventually come out of the closet, and the sportsman has to stand up to his buddies and say, yeah, I am queer and this is my boyfriend or whatever. I don't dig that. And I don't know, do you guys feel the same? How many of you feel the same? I'm holding this up there. How many of you guys feel the same about movies? How many of you have got these films or have actually seen these films? I'm sure everyone's seen Priscilla, but has everybody seen this one? I recommend you get this and see it because it's really funny. It's super funny, and it's also quite it has like a social commentary about being queer and kind of the stigma attached to it, and within families the stigma attached to it. But it also, I can tell you now, it does have a really happy ending. It has a really funny ending, but it's a funny ending. It's a great ending. It's a little bit slapstick, which I think is fantastic. So it kind of harkens back to those 30s, 40s films. Something like a film that I think it was in the 40s or 50s is Some Like It Hot with Marilyn Monroe. That is basically a queer film. One of the characters, played by Jack Lemmon, Jack Lemmon. At the very end of the film, you have to see what happens. That he goes off with a guy, an elderly man. It's absolutely hysterical, and that's what I can watch. I can watch comedies like that because I was not exposed to the serious gay cinema, queer cinema that we have now today. So hate me if you will, comment down below, call me all kinds of names, call me old-fashioned, call me like out of touch with the new world. But this is my opinion, and this is how I feel. So what do you guys think? Leave comments down below while you're down there. While you're down there, push all the buttons. And yeah, I'll see you in the next reel.